year. The key question with Larry Bird, they were in a hard cap in the NBA. And when you look at this and bringing it back home, Adam Silver, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, who are the superstars of the WNBA, but especially for Caitlin because she has such brand marketing deals, probably averaging $30 to $50 million a year. The Bird rights gives a team an opportunity to re-sign its best player and not be restricted by the cap.
Larry Bird doesn't waste words. When he speaks, it's because he means it. The Hall of Famer, three-time NBA champion, the man who turned trash talk into a weapon and could silence an entire arena with a single glare. These days, in a world overflowing with hot takes and constant commentary, Bird is almost a ghost, a living legend who rarely steps into the spotlight and almost never speaks in public. But that all changed in one shocking moment. Because just minutes ago, Larry Bird walked straight up to Caitlin Clark on live television, took the microphone right out of her hand, and delivered a message that shook the entire sports world. In the way Caitlin reacted, let's just say no one saw it coming. What Bird said wasn't just words, it was a statement. The kind of statement that echoes across generations, connecting the old school and the new. And in that instant, the room, the cameras, the fans, everyone knew they were witnessing a moment that will be replayed for years to come.
And put an understanding out, because with Caitlin and what the players and the collective bargaining agreement are negotiating, folks, I'm wondering if it's the best fit for the top players of the WNBA. CBA agreements, the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're going to have an intense meeting for All-Star Weekend. And I wanted to bring this up for Caitlin Clark and the Larry Bird rights rule. And we'll start from a revenue perspective as Caitlin leads the league in revenue. Where am I going with this? It wouldn't make sense to have a contract for Caitlin Clark.
You wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it yourself. Let's take it from the top. What was supposed to be just another post-game interview quickly turned into a moment for the history books. Caitlin Clark had just carried the Indiana Fever to a hard-fought comeback, putting up 28 points, 10 assists, and sealing the win with a cold-blooded three-pointer that sent the home crowd wild. The interview started like any other. The reporter complimented her leadership, asked about team chemistry, and everything felt routine. Then, out of nowhere, the arena erupted louder than at any point in the game. From the tunnel stepped none other than Larry Bird, the Indiana legend, the basketball icon, the name every Hoosier knows by heart. He walked straight toward the broadcast desk, eyes fixed on Caitlin Clark. She didn't notice at first, still smiling and answering questions like a pro. But the interviewer froze mid-sentence, the camera pulled back for a wide shot, and the fans rose to their feet. That's when Caitlin turned, and there he was. She didn't freeze out of fear, it was pure awe. Larry Bird, a man known for keeping a low profile, was walking straight toward her. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Everyone in the arena could feel it. What happened next wasn't planned. It wasn't staged. It was one of those rare, unscripted moments that hit you right in the chest. Bird reached the table, calmly took the microphone from Caitlin Clark's hand, and looked straight into the camera. I've been watching this game a long time, he began, his voice steady and deliberate. And I've never seen anything like her. She's the real deal, the toughest player I've seen since the 80s. And I'm not about to stay quiet while people try to tear her down. For a split second, the entire arena went silent. Then came the eruption. Bird's words weren't just praise, they were a stand, a shield, and a warning. He was making it clear he was stepping into the fire for Caitlin Clark, the rookie who's faced boos, hard fouls, doubts, and dismissals, yet kept showing up, game after game, refusing to back down. Clark's reaction said it all. She covered her face, shook her head, and her lips trembled. Then, for the first time on live television, Caitlin Clark's eyes welled up, not from weakness, not from being overwhelmed, but because a man who understood the weight of greatness. The very face of Indiana basketball had just passed her the torch, and Larry Bird wasn't finished. She doesn't need protection, he said firmly, but she sure as hell deserves respect. And if you can't give her that, then you're not watching basketball, you're watching your own insecurities. No PR polish, no watered down words, just vintage Larry Bird, sharp, direct, and completely unscripted. He handed the microphone back to Clark. She wiped her eyes, still taking it in. The interviewer, too stunned to continue, simply stepped aside in that moment, without a script, without a logo, without a sales pitch. The old guard and the new generation met in a way that went beyond the game itself. Because here's the truth. Some moments in sports aren't just about winning or losing. They're about legacy. Caitlin Clark has faced a level of pressure no rookie in WNBA history has ever carried. From her very first game, every move was put under a microscope. Every word replayed, every foul committed against her overlooked, while every foul she made became a headline. She was crowned the face of the league's future, all while being pulled through the baggage of its past. Yet, she never broke. Larry Bird noticed that, and unlike many in the media, he respected it. Bird knows exactly what it's like to be targeted for being great, to walk into arenas where the crowd wants you to fail and quiet them with a shot. To have your words twisted, your confidence mistaken for arrogance. And Clark, he didn't just see talent. He saw a reflection of himself, a competitor with a pure basketball soul. Someone who plays to win, speaks her mind, and refuses to bend her game just to make others comfortable. Larry Bird's public endorsement wasn't just emotional, it was calculated. This wasn't simply a pat on the back. It was a statement of power. In an era where most athletes are carefully managed and overly polished, Caitlin Clark has stood out by being unapologetically herself. And that honesty has made her a lightning rod. She's been labeled overrated, accused of stealing attention, criticized for being too cocky, too white, too privileged, too outspoken, depending on who's talking. But Bird, he couldn't care less about any of that noise. He cares about basketball players who can flat out play. And to him, Caitlin Clark is exactly that. His message rang loud and clear: she belongs. She's one of us. And if you can't see that, you simply don't understand the game. Minutes after the segment aired, the internet lit up. Larry and Caitlin were trending within moments. Former NBA stars weighed in. Legends posted their support. One viral comment summed it up perfectly: Bird doesn't speak for attention. If he said it, it's the truth. This was the moment the WNBA came of age. Even the voices that had spent months tearing into Caitlin Clark fell silent. Because when Larry Legend speaks, the only right move is to listen. The league wasted no time. Within hours, the WNBA blasted the full, unedited clip across every social platform. By sunrise, it had cleared 20 million views. Sponsors lined up. The Fever sold out their next 5 home games. Nike unveiled a Legend X rookie crossover campaign, releasing a special edition jersey stamped with Clark's number and Bird's signature gone from shelves in just 4 minutes. But the biggest change wasn't in ticket sales or merch drops. It was in the conversation. Pundits stopped throwing jabs. Analysts stopped picking apart every flaw. Even her most relentless critics eased up because Larry Bird had made it flat out uncool to hate her. Caitlin Clark didn't have to fire back. Larry Bird had already done it, and his voice carried the kind of weight you can't buy.